Who was Jesse Jackson? Well, Jesse Jackson, or Jesse Lewis Burns, was born in Greenville, South Carolina to one 16-year-old Helen Burns. Jesse's father was Helen's married neighbor, Noah L. Robinson. Jesse wouldn't learn this until he was 8 years old, but until then, his mother married Charles Henry Jackson, who Jesse took his surname from. Jesse lived his life surrounded by Jim Crow laws, attending a segregated school, Sterling High School, where he became class president. During this time, Jesse would get his first taste of protest. Jackson led a small group of 8 who held a sit-in at the school's local segregated library. All of them were arrested and charged with disorderly conduct. After this, Jackson went to the University of Illinois on a football scholarship, but eventually went to North Carolina A&T, graduating with a bachelor's in sociology. At this college, he would meet his wife, Jacqueline Lavinia Brown. Jackson would eventually go to Selma in 1965 and participate in the March on Montgomery, meeting Martin Luther King Jr. there. Martin Luther King Jr. was highly impressed by him and eventually gave him a role in SCLC. Jackson led Operation Breadbasket while under SCLC. The goal of the operation was to provide jobs to black people in Atlanta. During this operation, stores who refused to hire black people were boycotted. On April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. Jesse Jackson was a floor below at the time. When Jesse Jackson spoke to reporters, he stated he was the last person who spoke to him and that Martin Luther King Jr. died in his arms, but this statement is heavily contested by others present. Jackson eventually left SCLC to begin Operation Push. Push had many of the same goals as Operation Breadbasket and continued the boycotts, arguably becoming more successful than before. Jesse Jackson in 1984 would form the Rainbow Coalition, a group that formed in support of African Americans, women, and the LGBTQ. This group eventually would combine with Operation Push. During Jackson's time in the civil rights movement, Jackson would often recite the poem, "I Am Somebody," to crowds, using it as a way to empower people and remind them that they have worth.
I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be in jail, but I am somebody. I may be uneducated, but I am somebody.
Jesse Jackson would go on to run in both the 1984 and 1988 elections as a Democrat. Forever the critic of Reagan-era policies, Jackson ran on the promise for worker rights, civil rights protections, funding education, and a shift away from the current administration's war on drugs. He was known for his overwhelming charisma and gave a couple of speeches during his time with the party.
You can make it. It gets dark sometimes, but the morning comes. Don't you surrender. Suffering breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will not disappoint. You must not surrender. You may or may not get there, but just know that you're qualified and you hold on and hold out. We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. On tomorrow night and beyond. Keep hope alive. I love you very much.
Jesse Jackson was never successful in winning the nomination, but his running paved the way for future candidates. Jackson would eventually also become a shadow senator for D.C., serving for 6 years. After he was a senator, Jackson would go on to host Both Sides for CNN from 1992 to the year 2000. In this show, he would have 2 guests on with opposing views on a topic representing their sides of the argument. Jackson would go on after this to pledge his support for the Democratic candidate in every single election cycle. Jesse Jackson would be less active during his later years, but continued his activism, notably speaking during a Black Lives Matter protest. Jackson's body slowly failed him in his later years. He developed Parkinson's disease, which stripped him of the ability to walk, and more importantly, to talk. And along with that, COVID hit him pretty hard, forcing him into a rehabilitation center for a few weeks. Jackson was eventually diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy and would pass away at the age of 84. Many would go on to post tributes of him after this, such as Donald Trump.
He was a real hero, and I just want to pay my highest respects to Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Joe Biden, and both the Obamas. Jesse Jackson's legacy is one of an important civil rights leader, and as someone who would pave the way for other black candidates, notably Obama, to have a chance at becoming president.